Hello beautiful people, welcome to my channel. My name is Teresa and I am your tour guide today. Okay, so I've had a couple of requests for a look that I did using the Natasha Denona I Need a Nude palette. So we're going to recreate that today. It's a very soft, pretty neutral, rosy sort of look. But before we get into it, please subscribe to my channel and ring the notification bell so that you're alerted anytime a new video comes up. And if you like this video at the end, give it a big thumbs up. Okay, so I've already prepped my face and I have sprayed that down a little bit to put a bit of moisture back into the face. I've also done my brows. Everything that I use will be listed down in the description box, but now let's get into actually starting to add some colour. So first up, we're going to warm up the perimeter of my face using the Runway Room brush. So this is a mineral press powder that can be used as a bronzer. You can intensify it a bit more and sculpt out your face, or you can go in with a really light touch and just warm up your whole face. It's a really unique product because it does buff out quite well, and as I said, you can just warm it up. If you have tanned, fake tanned, and need to warm up your face, this is great to go all over. So going in with their dual-ended brush, just tapping in, and as I said, we're just warming up the perimeter, so using it as a bronzer and around the edge. So this is a Australian brand. If you haven't heard of them, they are mainly based, I don't know if they're elsewhere other than in Victoria, but they are all over the place in Victoria, created by Alex Favola. Some beautiful products, absolutely beautiful products in the range. And these brushes, let me tell you, are incredible. So as you can see, that's warming up nicely, and if I buff that more, I can really give my face sort of like an airbrushed glowy tan. It just sort of, for a powder product, it really just sort of melts into the skin. I mean, have a look at that. It's got a really slight sheen to it. And just using this brush, the excess on there, down the sides of the nose, under the lip, and I will add a bit more now to go down the neck. To carve out. Now I'm going to do a video sometime in the next few weeks that will have full on contour and bronzer. We're going to discuss the differences and the placement, and I'll do half a face with contour, half a face with bronzer before evening them out. The more I use this, the more I really love it. Next up, we are going in with the Natasha Denona My Mini Dream Glow Blush Palette. This is part of the My Dream collection. She recently released the Mini Dream Eyeshadow Quint. It's a 5-pan palette. This is really pretty. And in actual fact, while it's the My Dream palette, I actually think that it's more suitable for the I Need a Nude palette. Now there's 2 shades of blush in there. We're just mixing the 2 of them together, moving our brush around on it, tapping off the other end of this brush that I just used to do the bronzer. And look, you'll see a lot of videos if you're falling down the TikTok corridor hole. Why can't I use my words today? You'll see there's a lot of different discussions about blush placement and about, you know, lifting your cheeks as to lower and things like that. do what works for you. We're not here to follow any trends. For a long time I've used this technique, and funnily enough it's starting to come back now. I've started seeing it, this sort of C shape. This is more blush draping. This is something that those of you that are of my vintage, that were teenagers in the mid to late 80s, we did this. We did it a lot harder probably. As in, we went really hard in our blush, but it just warms up your face a bit more. Having that little bit of colour up here really warms up your face. Now, it has a highlighter in it as well, and of course we're going to go in with that. Actually, I'll use a smaller brush here. This is the Home Beauty highlighter brush. Tapping off on the high points of our cheeks. This is quite an intense highlighter, as you can see. I mean, it's super glowy. It's beautiful. This is a great palette. Like, what I love about this is if you're going away and you don't want to really think about having to work out what you're using in your eyeshadows. One, this is super travel friendly, and it's going to match any look. We love to save size. Two, this brush can warm you up. So if you want to go for a really sexy, warmed up, bronzy look, you can buff that right in. It's a mineral pressed powder, so you can use it without foundation. Use it, like, the more you intensify it for your bronzer. And then this, look, a lot of the, I'm not going to lie, a lot of the looks tend to look the same with it. Slight little subtle differences to them depending on if you go sort of more peachy like here. This is more obviously a bit cool tone neutral. This is a cool tone rosy look, and like this side's more warm. But they're going to look very similar, but they're going to look beautiful. So, fluffy crease brush, going in with the shade Mesh. Now we're going to keep it fairly, going to try and stick around this area. Oh, and of course, I don't know if I mentioned this earlier on, I did prep my eyes, so I've already used my M.A.C paint pot in soft ochre and set them. So we're using the shade Mesh as our transition, and this is a gorgeous transition shade. It just, on a light fluffy brush, and I say it, well, I'll say it in every video, hold it down the end of the barrel, teacup hold, means you're not going to gouge into it. We're just going in gently, little circular motions in the top part, looking straight ahead into your mirror. Now I have a mirror sitting directly next to my camera here. It is, and I might insert a photo in a minute, just up here. I think this was about $3 from Kmart, $3 or $6. It's a small dual-sided mirror. The side that I'm using is magnified, because if you have terrible eyesight like I do, you need help. We're just going to work on one eye at the moment, and then I'll go off camera and do the other eye. So really happy with that blend right now. Okay, we're going to deepen up. So this was Mesh that we just used. We're going into this one that's a slightly deeper, more rosy colour, and that is the shade Vague. Again, another crease blending brush. Tapping in, tapping off the excess. Now with the second shade that we're going the transition to deepen it, we don't have to go as high. So we're going in straight into where the eye socket is, windshield wiper motions back and forth. Dipping in again. And just building that up. As you can see, that's just giving us a little bit of more depth. This is a really, I mean, these just blend themselves. Okay, we've got 2 more shades now. We've got Fender here and Silhouette. So I'm going to start with Fender, which is sort of a really neutral barky colour. This one, Silhouette, is a cream to powder shade. If you're not used to them, it's exactly what it says. It's a cream, goes to powder. If you're not used to them, you may find it a little bit difficult to work with until you get used to it, but persevere. So we'll go in with Fender now. Slightly smaller. I tend to decrease down the heads of my brushes, of the fluffiness of them. This is slightly narrower this way as I darken up the shade. So into Fender, you can see. And again, so we're grading, doing a gradient down. And because this is narrow, it allows us to tuck in a little bit more. I've just heard my dog, because I've got the door open, just heard her go into our bedroom, jump on the bed, and I'd say roll herself over on the bed, rub herself, and come back out. And she's just walked in here. We literally just changed the sheets last night because they were covered in dog hair. So yeah, thanks, Jelly. Okay, so as you can see, we've got a bit of darkness here. It hasn't gone too far out. So we're going into this cream to powder now, Silhouette. I've got quite a small, dense brush. Tapping into that, this doesn't have much fallout. We're just going to stamp that in. We're not going too far because we don't want to go too dark with this. And in fact, I'll go over to blend it out with that Fender shade. So it's literally just darkening up that outer corner. And now I'm tapping into Fender again. And I'll use that over the top and buff it out. So this cream to powder formula can sometimes feel like it's really gripping, and it is a formula that is off-putting, as I've said, if you're not used to working with it, and it's the one formula that a lot of people don't like, and if they've used it and don't like it, then they tend to not want to come back to Natasha Denona. Going back in with the second shade again, Vague, just over the edge of that. And if you've watched the other videos that I've got up, you know that we go in and layer and build. And now back into the first shade, which is Mesh. Just over the top of that. Back into Fender now. So I'm really happy with where this is at now. Okay, so going into one of the shimmer formulas, Delilah now. All right, have a look at that. And tapping that, we will go over this as well, but tapping that over the lid with our finger. It's got a beautiful soft shimmer to it. It's a really nice taupey colour, and you could just leave it like this and it's beautiful. But we're going to lighten it a bit more. So going in with, we're putting layers on here, going in with a bit of Muse, I think. This is the most amazing, this is part of her new formula. Look at the intensity, the extra shimmer this gives. It's just gorgeous, and that will be a shade that I absolutely hit pan on. Look at it. I've got no words for how gorgeous this is. Now just going into the inner corner, I'm going to use Sheen. Just a very small brush on the inner corner here and bringing it up. Again, I say it all the time, you can use that and follow the curve of your orbital bone if you're not sure about placement, if you're not sure what to do with the shape of your eyes. So I'm loving how that looks, and now we will go in. I'm using the Charlotte Tilbury Super Nudes, I think it's called, the dual ended. I'm using the brown side just to line my waterline. I tend to not talk too much when I do this because I will poke myself in the eye. And I'm just going to tight line it. So turn it, and you just essentially, you're pushing it along the upper waterline, but into your lash line as well. So I don't use eyeliner on my top lid because they're so hooded. There's no point, you generally don't see it unless I just use it in this area. But what this does, and I don't know if you can tell, is it darkens up the base of my lashes. Okay, now so for under the eye, we are going in with that cream to powder in the shade Silhouette. Angled eyebrow brush, just because it is bigger. And just along the lash line there. And then with the finer brush that we used, the shade Tender, I think it was. Tender, we will go in Fender. See, can't read, going by memory. We'll use that along the lash line to smoke it out. Cleaning off my brush. And then going in with Mesh now on that same brush, just on the inner corner there. Now back into Whisper. Was it Whisper that I used? Or Sheen? Whisper, I think. Use Whisper on that little, in the corner of the eye. Going in with the super shimmery Sheen again. So I'm really happy with where that is. What I'm going to do now is just hop off camera. I'll do the other eye and put some mascara on, and I'll be right back. Okay, so we're back. I have done both eyes now and put some mascara on. I have used the L'Oreal Panorama mascara. Can I tell you, the more I use this, the more I love it. It gives such gorgeous length and curl and just holds it. For hooded eyes, where we tend to sag out here, it almost gives a false lash effect in how it pulls out, and it really allows you to build. I've got 3 coats on here and I love it. I haven't set down my face yet. Normally I do it before mascara or lips. I'll wait for this to dry down now. And going in for lip products, I am using the My Dream collection. So you can tell I love this lip pencil. It is lip liner in the shade Natasha. And of course it's called Natasha because that is her collection, her favourite shade. So what I'll do is this. Going in, I don't tend to overline because it looks ridiculous on me with thin lips, but what I do, and this is a hack that's been going around for a while, and when I first saw it I'm like, how ridiculous. I love it, and that is I overline the center of my Cupid's bow, so I curve it out and I don't come down here. So I've come down here right now. We're about to join it. So I've just rounded that out. It creates a bit of fullness there. That's the only form of overlining that I do. Going in with the Natasha lipstick from the My Dream collection. These go with any neutralish makeup look, or even any coloured makeup look, because it is such a great neutral shade. If you're wearing really intense eyes, you don't want to wear something really bright on your lips. So this works for that. If you're hearing noises, I'm really sorry. My stomach's going to town. And then the My Dream gloss. I am going to buy backups of this because I use it all the time. So that's finished. Look, let's just set it now. Going in with, what am I going to use? Will I use the Golden Hour Glow? I'll use the Golden Hour Glow because that's what I used in the photo that I put on Instagram. Home Beauty, of course. Trying not to get as much where my mascara is because obviously it's still slightly wet. Fan that down until dry. So there we have it, the finished look. I Need a Nude palette. If I could recommend one palette to have in your collection, it would be this. We all know I've got a ridiculous bonkers amount of eyeshadow palettes behind me. I didn't think that this would be my favorite. Like, I knew it was beautiful. I knew that I loved it. It has clearly been my most used eyeshadow palette probably in the last 4 or 5 years. And this only came out, I think, in the last half of last year. I just keep going back to it, and I could use this every day really happily. I do love the Yucca palette. That's very olivey and greens and golds, and I love that as well. That's really suits my eyes. It really makes my eyes pop. But this, the Glam palette and the Yucca palette, if I could only have 3 palettes in my entire collection, it would be those. But look at it. Isn't that just beautiful? So it's, I mean, come on. You can wear this during the day quite comfortably. You could wear it out for an evening. It's just a stunning look. And this little eyeshadow between the bronzer and the mini nude, this is great. This is really great. This is probably my all-time favourite look to do with products that I absolutely love. So yeah, let me know what you think. If there's any other type of look that you want me to do now, whether that be a real grungy look, whether that be something with colour, whether that be an all matte look, you know, if there's something that you want to see, whether that be bronze, a minimal eye makeup, a red lip, let me know down below. I'd love to hear from you, hear what you think and what you would like to see. So if you have liked this, please give it a big thumbs up. Tell your mum, tell your sister, tell your friends to come along and subscribe to the channel, and let's play sometime. Until next time, take care. Bye.